Well, hello and welcome. It's the CFFL show, iteration number 3. This is like weird because like we're technically watching week 2 happen. Week 3 is to follow. I don't know. We're gonna like mostly recap week 2, starting week 3. You know, the more we do this, the more excited I am to participate. I think there are 3 people that I know that watch this or listen to it. So thank you to you, Drew. How you feeling today?
Not too bad. Got the win. It looks like still some games going. Still got to dodge some bullets, but it's looking good. So can't complain about that.
Yeah, definitely bullets flying today, both for our NFL teams that we root for and for our fantasy teams. This is weird. We've got 2 Monday night games that I'm watching right now. 1 Monday night game and podcasting. I feel like I've handled that okay. 2 to be determined. We've added 2 wrinkles today. The first one I'll introduce right here. We've got Woodford Reserve on my end. Drew, what you got?
4 Roses, small batch.
Okay. And with that, we want to bring in our special guest for the day. Now, you might not know him, probably, because he's new to the league. But let me introduce the man, Mr. Logan Shepler, also known as The Replacements, who's cruising to like a 2-0 victory here. He's still got that new car smell. He's like, you told me this league was so difficult, but it really doesn't seem that bad. He was just talking shit before we started recording. Logan, how you doing?
I am honored to be here, honored by that introduction. And yes, I was talking so much shit because if I don't do it now, when am I going to do it? You know, I'm ready to be humbled, but it hasn't happened yet. So we're enjoying it while we can.
He said, I'm riding a high horse, and damn it, you got to kick me off it before you can say shit. So here we are.
That's right.
We're going to try and do a couple of things a little bit different this week. Drew, I'm going to leave it to you to start us off. You've got a couple of updates for us. What do we got?
We do. We haven't gone over the pick'em, so we'll try to interject that into week to week video casts here, and then also the suicide picks there as well. I think we already have 2 teams knocked out, so we'll get to that. But in the picks, we have 69ers leading this week, 11-3. A couple teams at 10-4, and then Stark's actually dragging up the rear. I think 7-7 right now. We still have 2 games outstanding, and I see the Empire took Carolina. I believe that was the only Carolina pick, so that could be interesting. In a close game.
Not the first interesting call by the Empire. We'll get to that.
No. And then it's a mix on Pittsburgh and Cleveland here. So it's pretty solid. You know, it's early, so it's hard to really kind of nail down what's going on with this. But as far as the total results here, or standings, I guess they call it here, Bandits at 21-9, Club at 20-10, Kings with 19, Bucks and Replacements. There we go, Logan, 17. We're tied there. And it goes all the way down to the Taints with 10. 10-20, so that's a rough start there for the Taints on that end. But it's never too late on this because the picks you know how they go. They get crazy. Especially as the season drags on. It gets tough.
Logan, is this the first fantasy league that you've been a part of that does the NFL picks? And if so, what do you think about this part of it?
Yes, it is. And actually, I've incorporated something similar in my other big league that I'm in, so I appreciate that idea. We were looking for ways to spice things up in that league. It is way more difficult than it should be, I think, especially early on. There were a few games these last 2 weeks that I really had no idea on, and I just flipped a coin in my head. Bears Bucks this past week was one of them. Got that one wrong, but it's I don't know how people are going, 13-3, 12-4. Like that's very impressive.
Yeah, I think, Clara, my oldest daughter, and I do these picks together. And there were at least 2 that I counted this week where she was like, Dad, I want to pick this team. I chose the other team. And of course her team won. So I think as I did last year, I'm just going to let her make the picks and we'll go from there.
Just let her do it. The results will be better.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea.
Yeah, and then in our Survivor as well. Let's see, we got Coyotes. Doesn't look like they made a pick this week, so that will be a second loss. Bandits and Taints. Ooh, Taints again. knocked out. Pick Cincinnati this week. That's a tough one. Empire picked Green Bay against Atlanta, which seemed like a pretty solid pick. Not so much. Everybody else picking either Buffalo, Dallas, or Seattle. Seattle, that's a ballsy. See, that's the ballsy pick of the week right there. The 69ers went Seattle. With Geno Smith and that garbage week 1 performance, they said, yeah, they're just going to roll the Lions. I didn't see that. But, hey, you know what? It paid off this week.
Weren't they underdogs? They were pretty significant.
I think they were. That's what I'm saying. Like I think Lions at home.
4.5 points.
Yeah. Yep. So that is the ballsy pick of the week by the Niners.
But it pays off.
Yeah. Buffalo and Dallas were the other picks. Those are pretty solid. Obviously, they smoked the competition. So, very interesting moving forward on that.
If you covered this already, I'm sorry. Who's out and who?
Let me get back here. Survivors. The Taints are out. Bandits are out. And Coyotes didn't put in a team for this week. I imagine it would show up since all games are now in motion here. So they picked the Giants last week, lost. It looks like they decided that was enough. The Giants' performance last week just knocked them out. They said, that was so pitiful, I quit. And I don't blame them. I would have quit.
It should have been worth 2 losses, honestly.
It really should have. Yeah. When you get beat 40-0, you're just out. You're done. Triple elimination doesn't matter. You're done. And then the Empire is down a game now. So the only survivor down blade running right now is the Empire with 1 loss. So,
roger that. I'm a part of a couple other eliminator pools that are only single elimination. I think the double elimination aspect of this is kind of interesting. Let's let you get maybe a little bit more aggressive if you want to. Some people maybe don't have the bandwidth or capacity to really, think that far ahead. We're just trying to pick winners here. And as Logan was talking about earlier, it's just difficult sometimes, So do the best we can. We move forward. What do you say we get into some recaps?
Let's do it.
All right.
Yes.
Let's start with our guest of honor, Mr. Logan. The replacements just rolled, and I mean rolled over the guest that we had last week. New Hall of Fame inductee, riding high, and
got smacked down.
That brings the kudos to the draft, but he did not bring the points to the game. How you feeling about the win? 2 in a row now.
Well, I'm hoping that there's not some sort of like Madden curse where the guest that comes on the show gets blown out next week. I'm looking to go 3-0, but props to him for a good start. I couldn't believe some of these guys he was starting. I know he's got some injuries. He's still waiting on that Jonathan Taylor miracle to happen, but Darnell Mooney, Deion Jackson, I of course left some points on the bench, which is kind of becoming my thing, but it felt pretty comfortable the whole time.
You score so many that you don't need them all in the lineup. I feel that.
Just trying to save them for later in the year,
Yeah, you're going to ride Calvin Ridley with 1 point with Mike Evans putting up 14 on the bench. That's a great decision. I like it.
I tell you what, Mike Evans, he's having the you didn't pay me. Let me show you what I'm worth. I'm going to go get my 1,000 yards. I don't care what you say about me season. And I think he's just a dude I'd want to be hitched to. And how about Baker Mayfield, Drew, as a Browns fan, who we can get into the Browns here in a moment and maybe some season-changing moves that have just happened. But what does it feel like to watch Baker Mayfield go 2-0?
It's okay. It won't last. We know Baker. We know what he's capable of. Very little. Obviously he went to a better situation in Tampa with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin because they're animals. They're awesome. But he threw 6 for 171 and 1 to Mike Evans this week. I could have got him 3 or 4 for 100 and probably a tutty as well. So, and that's on 1 wheel. So, I'm not horribly impressed when you have that kind of talent out there, and he has to do it for a whole season now. So he's been very streaky, very up and down, so I don't think it'll last all year, but it's solid performance in week 2. That's for sure.
Yeah, I got 2 things, and then I'll leave this game alone. But so I'm looking at my club. Jason, coming off the Super Bowl victory, I was just talking to my co-commish earlier. We're working on what our trophy is going to be now that the trophy that we have, it's completely full. Year 20, there's no room left on it. And the economics of shipping this thing to different owners and getting it back to the commish, putting a name on it, it's just not making a ton of sense. So we're trying to figure out exactly, what the prize of the league is going to be. Man, love the dude, but I'm looking at the team. And I'm just not thinking that we're going to have a back-to-back repeat situation. Injuries, lack of depth, this dude's going to have to hit the wire. Logan, were you worried going into this game? And what do you think about the club's prospects going forward?
So the primary guy I was worried about was Josh Jacobs. Even though he was going against the Bills, he's their whole offense, in my opinion. I mean, I know they got Devontae, but with their new quarterback, they're just going to want to pound the rock with Jacobs, probably run him into the ground so they don't have to pay him next year. But with him getting -2 yards, there wasn't a whole lot else that was really going to scare me. Obviously, Eckler being out is huge. And Christian Watson, if he ever gets healthy, he should be really good. But I was confident going in. I wasn't confident in making the right decisions, and it turns out I was right to be skeptical of myself, but I was feeling pretty good. Still feeling pretty good.
Real quick, every week we got to talk about one guy. That's Justin Fields. You just happen to be the in command of Justin Fields here, and you have Sam Howell on the bench there. How do you feel about Justin Fields right now?
I do not feel good about him, but I saw what he did last year a few weeks, and I'm not giving up just yet. But, man, that pick six he threw.
Gross, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I think they should probably bring Rex Grossman back. Maybe give him a start over Fields. That was really bad. Sam Howell, I took him for the upside. Washington is not very good, but, hey, maybe I'll have a diamond in the rough there.
They're what, 2-0, right?
Yeah, they're winning
threw
games.
299 and 2 tutties. I mean, Fields, what a trainer. He's like a diesel engine, though, right? He's just got to get warmed up. He needs that 4 to 6 game buffer before, they're like, oh, this season's lost. Just go ahead and run. He had 4 carries.
Yeah, that wasn't great to see.
Yeah.
One design rush so far this year for Justin Fields. I think he had like 9 something I read in the last game of the season last year. It's just it's not quite there. But as we've seen in previous seasons, week 1 does not necessarily indicate what's going to happen for the rest of the year. And the first couple of weeks with these guys not playing preseason games, it's just not what we might expect for the rest of the season. And I think he's got a pretty long leash. They've invested quite a bit into him. So let's see what rolls. Guys, we're going to do something a little bit different this week, right? So as we have our team of the week and our Life Comes At You Quick team, we're going to shout them out as we go. Anybody got either one of these teams as those?
I mean, you could make a case for Jason there for the Life Comes At You Fast, right? Because injuries, man. Injuries got him with Eckler. That's a huge loss. First round pick. He still doesn't have Taylor back. I mean, when you got Deion Jackson, DPJ, and Darnell Mooney, and Donovan Peoples-Jones still playing, but that's 3 zeros on the roster. Yeah, Life coming at you pretty quick right there.
Are you firing your bullet on that one, or are you keeping it in the chamber?
I reserve the right to come back and slam Jason for getting just destroyed this week.
Okay. Logan, you firing a bullet?
No, those award winners will be saved for future conversation.
Rock and roll. In the battle of 0-1s, we move forward. The Bandits are Justin Tucker fellow and their Kirby Kings both came into this week as 0-1 competitors. Somebody's leaving 0-2. I think we have a pretty good idea of who that is based on what's going on right now. And somebody's leaving 1-1. Kings are rolling, currently 52-29. He's got 2 guys still playing. George Pickens just got a 71-yard touchdown. Elijah Moore still going for the Bandits. Drew, what'd you see in this one? Is there hope for the Bandits?
No, not this week. No. Burrow, I mean, you got Dalvin Cook put up -1. Um, I don't know. I think one or two people this week said Dallas's defense might be legit, but he still decided Dalvin Cook. That's who I'm going to roll with. I mean, he could have put in Alvin Kamara, who's still on suspension, and got him 0. That would have been an upgrade.
That's an improvement.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire with his 1 carry for 0 yards, 2 catches for 17. He had 0 points, also an improvement. So I mean, he didn't have much on the bench either. He put Taysom Hill on the bench, though. I'm kind of disappointed because he's scoring right now. He's currently scoring more than his starting tight end. I busted his balls about it last week. He puts him on the bench, and then he outscores his starting tight end right now. That's really funny. But yeah, no, it's rough, man. It's rough. He's got Burrow struggling, Watson on the bench. Watson, we're watching this game, and he doesn't look any better than he did last week, which was ugly last week. Yeah, you're getting about a week or two from panic mode here for Bandits. You're towing that line right now.
The house is not quite on fire, but the dumpster that's outside of it due to the renovation that you're doing on your kitchen is currently burning, and you're realizing that that dumpster might not be quite far enough away from your house. Danger is looming. The one saving grace would be the fire extinguisher that might be Jerome Ford as a running back who's currently playing for the Browns and taking over for Mr. Nick Chubb. Drew, I'm going to skip you on this one. Logan, have you seen the injury to Chubb? Do you think that Jerome Ford can be a savior for the Bandits, or do we need to just move on to the Kings?
So do I think he can be a savior with this roster? It's clear that they're tanking for a draft pick, in my opinion. They have Kyler Murray stashed away, and Deontay Johnson is hurt. They are loaded at kicker though, Butker and Tucker. It's huge. I am learning kickers are weirdly valuable in this league. But I think the saving grace for having Jerome Ford could be trade bait. I don't know what he would get back in return, but I have a feeling that there's a lot of Browns fans in this league, and they might overpay for someone that could get the majority of the Browns carries. And I think he could be good, but
I don't want to break news to you. First year in the league, Big Daddy Bandits is the guy who overpays for the Browns players.
Now,
so there will
Jerome
never
Ford
be
on the bench.
There will never be a good enough trade package that he will accept.
No.
Okay. I think that's hard cutting and solid analysis. CFFL, Cortland is the C in the fantasy football league.
Not Cleveland.
Eastern Ohio, right in between Pittsburgh and Cleveland. I think we were split when we first started this league out, but we've definitely expanded our regional grasp. We're kind of like the Big Ten, We had a good base right there in the Midwest, and now we got a dude in North Carolina, and then we've got people that kind of went to different areas. And Logan, you're from Michigan. Sorry to out you on that one, but
sorry about that.
Well, I just threw up in my mouth. Sorry.
No, it's okay. That's all right. Let's keep it together. The Kings, though, let's move forward on that. Looking solid. 52 points, still going. He's got Hayden Hurst that has caught 2 balls, 10 yards. That game is just about over. And then George Pickens had that one long reception, 71 yards and a touchdown. As the bourbon starts to kick in for me, Drew, help me out. What do you see with the Kings?
Yeah, Barkley out. I think it's 3 they're saying right now. 16 points this week that are going to be out for 3 weeks. That hurts. Josh Allen, though, Javonte Williams, decent day for him. Didn't get in the end zone, so he doesn't score in this league, but I think it'll be okay there. Damon Pierce, good. Pickens, beast. The guy's good. Goff on the bench, or White on the bench. Roshan Johnson, interesting. Didn't get a lot of action this week. I think that run game in Chicago is just – I don't know if it's ever going to find its legs. So we'll see about that. DeAndre Hopkins, not awful. Sky Moore got the touchdown this week. Dude's he's okay. Even with Barkley out 3 weeks, I wouldn't be sweating. He put up 52 this week. I mean, it's pretty solid. I wouldn't be worrying there. That's going to be a tough team.
Yeah, 50 points in this league is always competitive. My dad used to tell me when I first got into it 16 years ago, if you can score 50, you got a shot. You got a really good shot. Like I said, he's still going, still scoring points. Saquon, I have him in a different league, was concerned that maybe he was going to be out for the season. But like you said, just a few weeks. Clara's sitting right over here in front of me. Just an ankle sprain, she said.
She knows best.
She does. She knows ball.
Nice.
And he's got some depth, right? Like you alluded to earlier. Got the win, going to 1-1, moving on. Are we firing any of our bullets on this game, or are we keeping them in the chamber?
I think we're hanging on to him here. I don't know about Logan. What you got?
Agreed. They're still chambered.
Okay. I'm gonna reserve the right to come back to the Bandits, but I got somebody I'm eyeing up. All right, moving forward. We got the GTs. Can't say that word because my daughter's here right now. And the Tsunamis, both coming in at 1-0. Currently 49 points for the Golden Titans is who we're talking about there.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have Yep. We got 30 points currently scored for the Tsunami. Now, love my father. Great dude. Can't say enough kind things about the man, but it's not looking good. I know that he touts the fact that he is going to win the division. Was really concerned last week. If you remember my concernometer, I think I was at a 6.5. I'll have an update for you later. Now that he's taken the L, it's back open. Logan, what we got for us on this game? Let's start with the Taints.
It's a good squad, man. A lot to like. Justin Jefferson, Amon-Ra, the Young Ho kicker. Gotta love that. Tua, Dak, James Cook on the bench, Nico Collins on the bench. Both those guys I've got in other leagues, and I think they're going to be solid. So might be some tough roster decisions week to week, but I mean, with those top end guys, and I didn't even mention Joe Mixon. Obviously, the Bengals haven't been doing anything yet, but Mixon's going to be just fine. He's going to start scoring touchdowns. That's a real solid team.
Yeah, I agree. And, he's got points on the bench. The one thing, so I had both Jefferson and Amon-Ra on my team last year. I think I said that last week. These guys put up a ton of yards, but in this league, touchdowns is the thing that really matters the most. I know Jefferson, I think he had 8 or 9 last year. Jason gave us some good stats on that. But what can you say? The man's moving to 2-0 in division, 2-0 in the league. You can't ask for a better start than that. Drew, are we worried about the Tsunami's roster?
A little bit.
Yeah,
Not-
putting.
He's not in the same place as but he'll be okay. He's a magician. You know what I mean? He's gonna it looks awful, and then next week he'll put up 71 or something stupid with guys you've never even heard of. So I mean, it really doesn't matter what I think because he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter what you think. That's a great point. When you've got Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, and anything could happen. Like those guys could put up 40 points by themselves, and you're going to win a week.
ETN, I mean, just didn't have it this week. CJ Stroud, man, he put up a game.
He's been playing.
That was all garbage time because they were down 3 scores in the first quarter. So he's slaying it 47 times. That's incredible. Godwin on the bench, McLaurin on the bench. I mean, I think he'll be all right.
So our podcast is not fact check. So, that's good. We don't have a net, we can just say things and nobody's really going to call us out with our 3 listeners. But I don't think CJ Stroud's thrown an interception quite yet. He might be, the great white hope.
He fumbled in first quarter, I think, this week, but he did not throw a pick. Correct.
Okay. I mean, turnover, yes. Interception, no. Could he be the first great quarterback out of Ohio State? Who's to say?
He's lost a fumble in both games, actually. No INTs. So there you have it.
Okay. I'm shooting one of my bullets here, and I don't mean to step on either one of you, but we talked last week about this division being the toughest one that we saw in the league so far. And with the GTs moving to 2-0 in the division, putting in a great spot, it's not an indication of what I think is going to happen down the road, but the guy's in a great position. He's got 2 really good wins. I'm giving him my coach of the week this week.
Solid. I like it.
I thought we were going to be in lockstep, Mike, when you said that you were going to fire a bullet. I'm firing a bullet.
Ooh, shots fired.
At the big dog. Pops. Randy. I'm not firing a bullet at the manager himself. I played with him in Border War long enough to know he's on his game most of the time. Maybe not when he's in Europe, but there's
that hasn't even happened yet.
Exactly. Other than those top couple guys, I mean, what are we doing here? There's a lot of potential that I'm not sure is really going to be tapped. Miles Sanders, I mean, I'm not sold on him in Carolina. I've never been a big ETN fan either. So I see Mahomes. I see 3 good quarterbacks and Tyreek Hill, and kind of hoping for the best with most of the other guys. But I know he'll make me eat my words whenever I play him. I guarantee that.
So I see that you kind of couched your statements a little bit, but I think what I heard you say is that he's 1 injury away from being in the race for that first round draft pick.
Maybe.
Okay. All right. Let's leave it there. We'll revisit next week. I like it. All right.
Just stirring the pot here. I know he's going to come back at me, and I'm totally cool with that.
That's good. Yeah, he's coming back on. We've got a couple of guys that are coming back on.
When you're 2-0, you can say whatever you want.
That's a good
That's
point.
what I'm hoping.
And he's the new guy. Like he said, he's at the top of the mountain, and he hasn't been humbled yet. So here we are. And
it'll happen. It's fine.
This episode, as we spoke about before, is sponsored by both Woodford Reserve and what do you have? Four Roses.
4 Roses. Yes.
So, who knows? We're halfway through, and let's see what could shake out going forward.
Getting empty too.
State Brewery as well.
Okay.
There we go. Good.
All right. Let's make sure we get that contract signed so we can get that sponsorship cash coming.
I don't know if anybody's watching this Browns game, but you have to switch to liquor when you watch the Browns.
Is this not like a Browns Steelers stat line? 14-16. I mean,
yeah.
It was 10-11 earlier. I was talking to Drew before we started recording. I'm like, my goodness. Like, I remember, this division with the Ravens of old with their big time defense, like 6-9 is a final score line that just feels right. I know we're not here.
I thought 16-14 would be the final. I think for the tiebreaker thing, I put 36 points for that game.
That's about right. That might be the final. We'll see.
Yeah.
Can we just fast forward to the point where Myles Garrett rips somebody's headgear off and tries to beat him with it? Can we just get to that point?
I forgot about
that's where I've been since Nick Chubb broke his leg. That's where I've been. I'm like, can we just end this?
Yeah.
It's Mason Rudolph when you need him.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Logan,
they're best friends. They go way back.
We've kept Drew in the cage for the first half of the show, and I think he's got his paw sticking out, and he's like trying to get
Here
that.
We go.
Let's roll, baby.
The bourbon's hitting, but what we can do is we can move on to the bushwhackers because I'm very interested to talk about the bushwhackers.
All right,
getting bushwhacked, getting bushwhacked.
Let's not forget the fact that he
shellacked.
79-0 was his score prediction.
70, yeah. Which
I just want to feed you that, and then go ahead and eat.
Yeah, 79-0. I mean, we knew the Land Sharks could score 79, but I didn't think Bushwhackers would score 0. Come on. I knew he'd get a couple points. Damn, dude. He is getting whacked, man. Getting whacked by T. Higgins. Darren Waller showing signs of life. David Montgomery might have got hurt, but he got in the end zone, And Mike, you put the boom on the Bushwhackers, so I think you need to kick us off with kind of what went down on Sunday with this game.
So I knew. Thanks for that introduction and teeing me up. I'm feeling pretty good about that. I'm looking at my bench right now as I get ready to talk about my starting lineup, and nobody scored 0 points. I'm feeling my concernometer is definitely decreasing. I was excited about the fact that I trust in the process for Lamar. Right, I drafted him, I think, in the 5th round. He was a high draft pick for me. I've got faith. Like, new offensive coordinator, they're just starting to find their stride. I think better days are ahead for Lamar. And he had a great one last week. The stat line might not be amazing, but 54 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns in the air with 237 passing yards. It's a solid 12-point day. You said David Montgomery got hurt. was very concerned that his season was over. Sounds like it's just a quad injury, maybe a couple of weeks, and we're getting him back. Logan, Detroit fan, can you confirm or deny?
I can confirm that it doesn't seem as serious as we thought originally.
Yeah. So, and then when you score 63 points and your number one draft pick, Tony Pollard, only has 6, that's a good sign. T. Higgins, I thought for sure this would be a bounce back week for him. I'm definitely concerned now that we have some injury issue with Joey Football. That's not his nickname. What's his nickname? I can't remember. Anyhow, moving forward.
Joe Bird?
We did put 2 touchdowns in the paint and on the score sheet. I still got 3 guys that I'm playing against, so I'm trying to not go too far, but some of these games are almost over. 63-44 current score. Seems like we're cruising. And then Raheem Mostert definitely going to find his way in the starting lineup next week. I'm feeling pretty solid. Logan, what did I miss? Anything?
No, you got it. This is a solid bounce back for you. Couple solid additions from the wire you got too. I don't know if you'll really ever have a chance to start them, but there was no real need for panic after last week. I mean, it was a tough loss, and I think your squad's gonna be fine. Tony Pollard I was drafting him everywhere I could this year, and I think he'll keep you on track.
One thing that I'm kind of stoked about, I do want to interject. We had some updates about the Eliminator and about the Pick'ems. Total point standings so far this week, and I'm gonna give these updates as long as they're relevant to me personally. Land Sharks in the lead at 114, Replacements number 2 at 101, and the Golden Titans tied with you at 101. Drew, we got the 1-1 record. Total points really don't matter. You are as good as your record says you are, and we can
That's right
from there. Next game up on the docket. We got the 69ers, who, Drew, you're kind of disappointed in them. I'll let you say why you're disappointed in them here in a moment. Really, in the game of the week, not laying the beat down, but getting the win against the Coyotes, who, both these teams came into the week 1-0. Coyotes put up 53 points, got the L. That's always a tough beat. Drew, why are you disappointed in the 69ers, and what do you see for them going forward?
They were getting 69, except Nick Chubb. The Steelers screwed it up, as usual. They screw everything up. They broke Nick Chubb's leg here. He ends with 3 points, which is a disappointment because he was going to end with 7, and we were going to have 69ers getting 69. And like I said, man needs love, but he gets it in the form of winning. So that's always good because Coyotes, they can't. They're done. Put a fork in them here. They have nobody going right now, I believe. So that's a good win for the Niners.
Yeah, and going 2-0 in a fantasy football league is always great, right? You've only got 14 opportunities to get that W. It's a week-to-week game. You got 2 of them in the books. It's moving forward. He's got 20 points on his bench, which I do have to mention, in Brian Robinson Jr. Yep. So I would imagine that he finds his way into the starting lineup next week. Kind of like my bench. He's got a lot of points down there.
They have Buffalo, though. Ooh. They have Buffalo next week.
See,
so
that's
tough decision.
That's the hard-hitting analysis you don't get on just any podcast. So thank you. I appreciate that. Logan, what'd you see with the Coyotes? Cause for concern? Better days ahead? What do you got?
I mean, you put up 53 points. I don't think you can be that concerned, right? Just like I was talking about with your week 1, Mike, you put up 53 or whatever it was and lost. You tip your hat to the opponent or blow them a kiss, and then you just move on to the next week. But I mean, it's still a solid team. Just lost to what I was going to say is my coach of the week until Chubb's unfortunate incident. But I like the 69ers. What can I say?
I mean, what guy doesn't? Am I right?
Dinner for 2.
It's fact.
Clara's not listening, is she?
She is supposed to be walking up the steps right now. The kiss that I did blow off camera and while muted was to her because she needs to get to bed so that I can turn the filter off. But she's still here, and here we go. I agree. The Coyotes, not too concerned. Got a lot of folks on the bench. Got options. Angelo, could this be the year? This could be the year. Yeah, I'm excited for the guy.
I would
Moving
like to add
on.
one thing real quick.
Yeah,
I
go for it.
I kind of overlooked it in my analysis, but Kyle Pitts, as someone that's been on the hype train for Kyle Pitts for a couple years now, just cut bait. It's not happening. It's never going to happen. Tyler Higbee, probably also not happening. But yeah, I just wanted to shout out Kyle Pitts and how bad he is.
Yeah, and I'm going to go ahead. That is all fact. I love the drop in on Pitts because he is the Pitts. That's for sure. Which is not even his fault. That's the worst part. Team just says, "Hey, we have the most talented tight end in the league. Let's give the ball to Tyler Algier." You know what I mean? Whatever. But
Yeah.
and they're 2-0 doing it. Which the worst part is they get rewarded for stupidity.
Right.
But whatever.
I think it's like you know how I don't know Arthur Smith, a billionaire, right? Like one of the most wealthy people in the world. I don't know. I can only guess, hypothesize for scientists quite like you, Logan, that when you get to that level of wealth, it's just like, let me play games in life and see how far I can push things. What can I get away with? I'm going to draft, first and second rounders. That doesn't mean I have to play them or use them. And when you're winning, like Al Davis likes to say, the rest of
That's
it really.
right. And real quick, while we're on the 69ers here, I think they got to get the team of the week nod. When you got 20 on your bench and you still win by what, 12? Yeah, that you're having a week. You're having a week. And Nick Chubb going down. I hate it for Nick and for the Niners, but I think he has. Brian Robinson put up 20 on your bench. You'll be all right.
Yeah. I respect that bullet coming out of the chamber. I think that's well used. Even though the game's still going, everything's over. We're moving forward. These guys, I think, both in great positions. Let's go to the Empire and the Nuts. I still got one bullet left in my chamber. How many bullets we got left? I'm not tracking rounds here. Drew, you got any left or no?
I've shot. I got the club and the Niners.
Logan, you got any bullets left?
Well, my coach of the week, team of the week is also the 69ers or the 65ers as they stand right now.
Yeah. Should we make
even
them
with the Chubb injury?
What's that?
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Logan. Should we make them change their name?
Absolutely not. Unless we're going to get more of a child-friendly audience here, which I don't see happening. 69ers is a perfect name.
Okay. Yeah, my daughter has left the building. Filter released. All right.
Nice.
Yeah, I think that's well used. Okay, good deal. Let's move on to the Empire and the Nuts. Both teams coming in at 0-1. Hey, man, 0-2, especially 0-2 in the division. Not a good place to start. Drew, you did what you had to do. Not only did you get the win, but you got it in resounding and convincing fashion. Were you concerned going into the week? I know based on our conversation last week, you were not, so I'll answer that question. How'd it go? What's it look like going forward for you?
Yeah, I wasn't too worried, but any week anything can happen. So it started a little slow. Anthony Richardson started pouring it on, and I'm like, he's the only guy I needed to play. And then, of course, he gets knocked out. So he ended on a 14-point day all in the first quarter, which is amazing. Luckily, I got Daniel Jones out of there who put up 19. Yeah, whatever. But, it is a tough week for the Empire. They got Pickett going now. They have Njoku playing and Najee Harris. It's not going to happen for him. Hate to break it to him, but they can't make it up now. And Najee Harris, that's going to be rough going forward for them. Stephon Diggs didn't get in the end zone. Pittman, not awful. So I think the lineup for the Empire has improved slightly since last week, but it's going to be rough for them. And as for me, I feel all right with it. I picked up Kyron Williams for the Rams, and like a dummy, I didn't play him, but that's okay. He'll be in there next week. I think we have a matchup with Cincinnati next week. I like that. So, He'll be in there. I'm pretty happy. Brees Hall, he got 4 carries for 9 yards. And obviously the Jets went into that game thinking, let's not give the best player on our team the football so that we can lose to the Cowboys 30-10. Let's let Zach throw it a bunch so we can throw 3 picks like a moron. The Jets, they're done. They're done. Their season's over. They needed Aaron Rodgers to tell Hackett to shove it up his rear end. And, Zach Wilson doesn't have the balls to do that. So their season's over.
Okay. Now, that's the spice that we're looking for, especially in the last game of the night. Logan, 2 questions for you. One, was that Cincinnati, I think was the quote, was that bourbon slurred or was that just a mistake? And then what did you see in the Empire?
Did I say Cincinnati?
No, Drew did. I'm just asking for your comment.
Oh, yeah.
Cannot confirm, but I think the evidence is pointing towards 4 roses induced on that mispronunciation,
Yes.
which I approve of. What do I think of the Empire? As the new guy, and he invited me in the league, I feel a little uncomfortable responding to that. But yeah, I mean, it's over. Pretty confident saying that. He started a guy that was inactive last week, in Melvin Gordon. And so, like Drew said, he improved by not doing that this week, but it's still debatable because Najee Harris might as well be inactive. And there's not much else here, honestly. Chase Claypool, no.
Solid week for
4
Claypool.
quarterbacks, no.
Yeah.
That's all I got. Yeah. Sorry, man.
I know, and we can get into this more. We're going to have a new coach formally coming into the league next year. Kara is her name. She's going to be taking the reins over for the Empire. I believe the 2 are working together this year, excuse me. I wish her well. I think she's got better days ahead, calm seas ahead.
I think obviously Dan drafted this team, so
okay. All right.
She'll be all right.
Okay. Now, and the other thing I need to say is that, I placed a bet with Drew's money on Justice Hill scoring a touchdown, so I can't say that the team's all bad. And although that I lost Drew's money while I did that, allegedly, IRS, it could have been worse. It really could have been worse. Stephon Diggs got a chance to score points. Najee Harris, if you remember the show ER or Grey's Anatomy for the younger folks, how many times do they cut to that monitor that's tracking the heartbeat and the rhythm, right? This dude, he's flatlined. 6 carries, 4 yards. Game's still going on. 16-14, classic scoreline. But why is
he's taking him off life support.
Yeah.
Just take him off. He's done. You put him in a freezer. Funerals next Sunday. And that's it.
Yeah.
This usually is supposed to happen to someone that's older than like 25 years old too. The guy's still young. Like, what's the deal? That's not a good sign.
Yeah, not a great sign. We do have 4 quarterbacks on this team, so there's depth, which is something to be
like
appreciated.
depth. Yeah.
If you have
especially
4
in a
quarterbacks,
position
you
where
have
you can
no
only play one.
quarterbacks.
Yeah.
You know what?
Especially in a position where you can only play one. That's solid. Solid depth.
I just saw a Pittsburgh Steeler try to hurdle a man and put his knee into his face and then get shoved backwards. So that was cool. I want to comment on that.
That's Pickens. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah. So I got a bullet in the chamber, and I hate to do this to my guy, to my co-commish guy, but like I wanted to do this last week, but I was like, you know what? Give it a week. Let's just see what happens. It's got to improve. It didn't improve. We're at 0-2. It's just not great. My oh shit, life comes at you quick. Team of the week is the Empire, and I'm sorry. I love you, but let's see what you can do on the waiver wire coming ahead. Okay.
Seems like a very reasonable take.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Let's move forward. Quick look ahead to what's to come. Our matchups. I'll lay them out for you guys. Let me know what you think might be the game of the week ahead. All right. So we've got Logan, the replacements are taking on the Bandits. We've got our new Hall of Fame inductee, the Club, is taking on the Kirby Kings. We've got the Golden Taints. I can say that word now. And the Bushwhackers. I'm really interested in that game because I want to see if the Taints can come out of the Division 3-0. I really hope that they do not, but I want to see if it can happen. And then biasedly, it's not a word, but I'm using it. My father and I are going up head-to-head, Tsunami against the Sharks. That's my team of the week, my game of the week. We've got the 65/69ers going against the Empire, and then the Bucknuts against the Coyotes. What are you guys seeing? Any matchups to look at? Talk to me.
Yeah, I think the Taints are undefeated. Replacements, you'll be undefeated. And then is that it? Coyotes, Niners. Are going to be, so the Niners will be as well. So that's that's crazy. That'll be fun. That'll be fun. Yeah, I agree with you, Mike. The Tsunami Land Shark game, that's always a fun one. So I look forward to that one for sure.
Logan, you got anything written down for next week that you want to keep track of?
Whenever the Monfredi's battle, it's always must-see TV, especially you guys both at 1-1. It's a big week. And going to 1-2 isn't going to feel good for one of you guys. That should be a great matchup. I also think that the Taints and the Bushwhackers should be a good matchup. That's just at first glance, but yeah, some interesting matchups.
Good deal. I asked you guys to prepare for one unorthodox thing here before we sign off, and then we'll throw it to next week. But I asked you guys to prepare to discuss, debate / quickly hit on the best driller in the history of cinema. Now, you might be wondering why I asked you to do that, and I'll give you a quick anecdote why. I'm in a different fantasy league with my father. He started in his neighborhood. I was excited to join. Everything's good. Of course, it's second fiddle to the CFFL, but the team I chose, the MF Drillers. My wife's a dentist. We do a lot of drilling on teeth. We also try to drill our opponents. And then if you want to use your bourbon brain and think of some other stuff, we can go there as well. But
I'm glad you clarified that when you asked, because I was like,
Yeah. So I asked the boys to reference the best driller in the history of cinema, and I clarified, not XX driller, but think like oil rigs. Did you guys come up with anything? And if so, what do you got? If not, get out of my way, and I'll make my case for my guy. Let me know what you think.
Harry Stamper saved the world. So, what else do you need?
Are we all in agreement?
Oh my God.
We were all going to die from a giant asteroid, but then Harry Stamper and his team pulled like 24 Gs for like 5 minutes going around the moon, because that's possible. And then they drilled a rock, and he sacrificed his life for us. Yeah.
And he gave his daughter to Ben Affleck, and he didn't want to, but he came around.
He didn't want to, there's that.
But Ben Affleck ended up getting J-Lo, so must be a good catch, right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I told my pops, I was like, hey man, Harry Stamper saved the world. He's like Drillers. He told me I needed an avatar. I was like, all right, give me a picture of Harry Stamper. He's like, who's that? I'm like, what? Who's that? Harry Stamper. The man who saved the world. Maybe should be the biggest statue on the planet. Logan, you want to say something? What is it?
I do. I'm wondering, Mike, after you win a matchup, do you say, we win, Gracie? Famous last words.
An Aerosmith song plays.
I'm just saying.
Is there a better bookend to a life? All right, good. Boys, you took the homework assignment. Not only did you complete it, but you fucking aced the test. And I'm
trying to remember what's the Ben Stiller movie where she's like, jackhammer me, and he's like, what? That was the other thought. I can't even remember the name of the movie. I just remember the jackhammer part. And anyway, runner up if you need one.
Okay.
You can throw a Ben Stiller puzzled face out there.
Oh, I see the Browns going for 6, by the way. Here we come, 20-19, looking for a 2-point conversion.
Jerome
Ben Stiller
Ford.
reference appreciated. Ford, signs of life. I can't remember what team he's on, but I remember thinking
70 yards.
Yeah, that was a long one.
Wow, and he did a handstand in the end zone. That's cute.
It's good stuff. Boys,
Surprised he didn't break a leg.
this has been fun. Did we miss anything today? Drew, you got any final words?
Cincinnati. I think that's all we missed.
I think if we have naming rights to the league, we might just change it to the Cincinnati League.
Let's do it. Yeah, Cincinnati Football Fantasy League.
Love it. Logan, you enjoy your time here today?
It was a pleasure. Yes, hopefully I'll be invited back at some point. I'm hoping I'm not still sitting on 2 wins whenever that day comes. I know I talked a little bit of smack here, so I'm waiting for it to come back at me. But yeah, it's been fun so far. Let's keep it going, boys.
Rock and roll. All right. Thank you both for taking time out of your Monday evening to be with us here today. Coaches, I'm putting this out to each and every one of you. We want to make sure that everybody's got a platform if they want to use it. Please let me know if you're interested in coming on. I know that we've had a couple that I've reached out to individually who have said, hey, that's just not me. I don't even enjoy my picture being taken. And that's totally cool because we got a couple of guys for sure that definitely want to come on and help us out.
I don't either, but I'm not being a bitch. I'm here.
I mean, you're a good looking dude.
Right here in the camera. Come on. It's the 0-2 teams. They're scared. It's okay.
Yeah. I can neither confirm nor deny who said that comment. But yeah, come on, guys. If you want an opportunity to shoot the breeze, have a bourbon with us on a Monday night, let's join in. But boys, thanks for being here. We'll see you after the week 3 recap and look ahead to week number 4. Good luck.
Sounds good.
Everybody in week number 3.
See you
All right,
next week.
boys. Later.